Will you shut up, man? Listen, in 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years.
The first presidential debate of 2020 off to a contentious start. President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden went head-to-head on topics like coronavirus, the Supreme Court, and the president's tax returns. Tamon Bradley joins us live from Cleveland, Ohio, where the debate wrapped up earlier.
Kathleen, good evening. The insults came fast and furious. Joe Biden called President Trump the worst president America has ever had, while President Trump questioned former Vice President Biden's intelligence.
How you doing, man?
A gentlemanly start moments before a street fight. President Trump and former Vice President Biden at each other's throats for 90 minutes. A fired-up President Trump repeatedly interrupted the former vice president and lobbed insults.
There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years, you've done nothing.
At times, Biden showed he was annoyed.
You picked. It'd be a surprise.
The wrong guy, the wrong night at the wrong time. Folks, do you have any idea what this clown's doing?
On the coronavirus, the rivals debated the country's response.
Is what it is because you are who you are.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000.
A question about President Trump nominating Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court quickly turned into a fight about health care. President Trump accused Biden of wanting to kick people off of their private insurance, while Biden warned the conservative-leaning Supreme Court will end Obamacare.
Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
socialist
right
healthcare.
Now, I am
and
the
they're going to dominate
Party.
you.
Moderator Chris Wallace asked President Trump about the New York Times report that he only paid $750 a year in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017.
Chris, let me just tell you something, that it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits.
President Trump was asked to condemn white supremacists, but he did not.
I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white supremacists.
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. This is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
When President Trump attacked Biden's sons, the former vice president unloaded.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Hunter?
I'm talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Beau. I know Hunter.
Yeah.
Before the first punches were thrown, organizers predicted more than 100 million people would tune in. We'll see how many people stuck around until the end of the debate, and we'll see whether or not what they saw influences how they'll vote. Live tonight in Cleveland, I'm Tamon Bradley.
Yeah, that'll be debated as well, whether they stuck around until the end. Thank you so much for your insight and your report.